Like to call this meeting to order, the March 4th regular meeting of the Canelo Recreation and Park District Board of Directors. We have a very full and festive schedule for this evening. So I wanted to start our flag salute with our flag salute, but I'm not sure who of our guests are online. I wanted to know if Ruben Rojo might be available online to lead us in our flag salute. He's not on. He probably knew I would do this to him and purposely, well, I figured as our senior most recognized employee, he would be entitled to that. So, all right, then I'll go ahead and take care of that duty myself in his absence. So if you please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag, stand up. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Madam Secretary, if we could have our roll call, please.
Director Nichols.
Yes.
Director Hustler.
Yes.
Director Lang.
Here.
Director Holt. Here. Director Huffer.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And I believe she's probably going to bow out again to do her duty for this evening. So as a reminder, on her behalf, if the board members could keep their microphones on and active so that she can hear all the comments that are made with us. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to our special presentations coordinator, which is quite the task this evening. So General Manager Jim Friedel, take it away, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair Nichols and members of the board. This is going to be a really fun night, and normally we get to spread this fun out throughout the year. But what we have done is waited and waited and waited, hoping that the public health rules would allow for us to all be together in the same room. But seeing as that is still seemingly a little ways off, we thought we would wait no longer and try to do all of our employees, giving them the recognition that they're due, and try to do that even if it means we can't physically be together, but do it by Zoom, since so much of life is happening on Zoom. So we hope these are the one and only Zoomies, is what we're calling this award show. But we're going to kick it off tonight by first recognizing our part-time service award recipients. And I believe Rochelle will magically appear on the screen to kick that off.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Jim, Chair Nichols, and members of the board. So we're going to start out tonight with our part-time service awards. And I thought what I'd do is just give you a little bit about how these folks got nominated and what the qualifications were for them to earn the service award this year. So the purpose of these awards is to recognize our part-time employees in the Recreation and Community Services Division for outstanding performance and contribution to the district and the community throughout the year. Some of the criteria in order for them to be nominated, and they're usually nominated by the supervisors and the coordinators. So some of the criteria is notable contribution to ensuring the unit meets its goals, commitment to improving the quality of programs and services, leadership in working with the public and community, developing and implementing new ideas, which that's happened a lot this year, attitude and cooperation with our fellow staff members, program development and service implementation, and program accomplishments. All of these nominations were notified last month. So Melissa and Tim and I went out and congratulated them and gave them an award, a gift from the district. And so tonight you are going to meet the 9 awardees, and Tim and Melissa are going to be introducing you and telling you a little bit about each of their teams from their side of the unit. So with that, I think Tim is going to kick this off.
All right, good evening, everyone, and let's get started recognizing some of our great staff. The first one we have today is Wesson Montgomery. So there he is in his nice suit. Wesson Montgomery has been with CRPD since 2015, and he has been described as a chameleon by his supervisors for his ability to adapt and excel in any program. He started as a recreation leader, running gymnastics classes, summer camps, volunteer programs, and more. 3 years ago, Wesson was promoted to recreation specialist of the Borchard Skate Park and has taken the skate program to new heights, tripling the number of classes offered. Known to the kids and parents as Weston Bacon Cheeseburger, he has proven to be pandemic proof, as his classes this past year have continuously been sold out with waiting lists. We are currently trying to figure out how to clone him. We just haven't figured that out yet. He's a super positive person and he's great at forming relationships with people, which is evident when reading the comments describing Weston on the surveys that are sent out to participants at the end of each program session. Weston also is currently working towards finishing his recreation degree with Cal State East Bay. He's the educator's rep for the CPRS District 8 board and has a bright future in the recreation profession. So congratulations, Wesson, on being recognized tonight with a service award, and thank you for all you do for CRPD and the community. And I believe if you would like to say,
Wesson.
you can now go ahead and mute yourself.
Thank you, Tim. And yeah, I believe it's an honor to work for this agency. And I'm not just saying that as an automated response because I'm, accepting a cool award. But yeah, like what you were saying, being a part of the California Parks and Recreation Society for District 8 and being in school and comparing what's going on around the state right now with different agencies and cities, it always leaves me in gratitude to work for this agency and the scope and how large we are, providing leisure opportunities and recreational opportunities. But I just want to thank Kurt Gunning specifically and you, Tim Doerr, for motivating me, for guiding me, and for dealing with my abundance of enthusiasm, because this is my career path. And I hope to be here maybe in 5 years on the full-time end or saying hi from a neighboring agency. And keep your eyes peeled for CRPD Skate, if you can see it there. That's in my mind, that's a special unit and division, maybe a full-time job one day that we're creating because we're meeting the demands of being the primary source for recreational skateboard programming in the Conejo. So keep it short because there's a lot of people to talk, and thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Weston. Our next honoree, you might notice, has disappeared from the boardroom or is not in there right now. He's down in the sound booth, but that would be Ian Kelly, the senior.
Ian!
The senior recreation leader at Hillcrest Center for the Arts. Ian has been on staff serving in various roles with Hillcrest Center for the Arts since the summer of 2004. He has began as a house manager, a stage worker, a recreation leader, and now a senior recreation leader. Ian's accomplishments this year have been instrumental in ensuring that the community still has access to the arts. He spearheaded the cultural unit's Play in a Bad project. Ian assembled bags, packed them with costumes, props, and scripts, and ding-dong ditched some of the lucky youth theater participants. The contents encourage kids to put on productions safely from their living rooms. As health orders lifted, Ian assisted in conceiving and creating the safety stage on the patio that made the 2020 Teen Summer Musical possible. Ian's biggest accomplishment this year has been learning new skills in live stream technology in order to stage manage all virtual productions that include the Witch Academy, Night Night Roger Roger, and the Zoom with Santa. He did all of this from the comfort of the theater soundbox. Ian is known to keep a level head in all situations and be a problem solver. So tonight, Ian, production master, we say congratulations and thank you for all you do and that you ensure the show does go on. Ian, if you would like to unmute right now and say a few words.
Oh, there you go.
Standing
here. Technological wonders.
Ta-da. Oh, well, thank you, board and staff, Melissa and Rochelle. And I think Scott was on that call. Yes, thank you, everybody. It's been an honor to get this award during this crazy time. Everybody from CRPD is doing tons of work to make the district still function in the way we envision it. So yeah, it's been an honor to learn all this new technology. We're gonna keep making these board meetings fun with cameras. Mark and I are coming up with some fun ideas. So yeah, maybe you'll get some fun visual effects, and please come to all our virtual shows and comedy so we can keep all this going. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yay!
Congratulations, Ian. Next up, I have the pleasure of speaking on behalf of Brian Nagany. Brian is celebrating 22 years of service with CRPD and has made many incredible contributions to the district throughout his career. Brian has previously worked at the Borchard Community Center teaching classes and working with the Safe Passage Teen Club. Currently, he is a recreation specialist at the Conejo Community Center and Outdoor Unit, specializing in the McRae Ranch programming and summer day camps. When the pandemic hit, Brian went above and beyond to ensure summer camps continued by keeping our programs aligned with CDC, state, and county guidelines and procuring all necessary personal protective equipment. Children had fun, families felt safe, and we successfully made it through the entire summer without one positive COVID case. Additionally, when schools shut down, Brian stepped up and served as the lead staff for distributing food to the Safe Passage families for the lunchtime program. Brian brings creativity, fun, and a positive attitude to the job every day. I don't think I've ever seen Brian in a bad mood. Over his time with CRPD, he has been instrumental in providing a more memorable summer experience for thousands of Conejo Valley youth. We are all looking forward to an even better summer this year and the return, hopefully, of McRae Ranch programming soon. Brian, congratulations on being recognized tonight with a service award, and thank you for all you do for CRPD and the community.
Thank you, Tim.
Brian.
Thank you to the board. I appreciate being recognized, especially like Ian and Weston also said, during this year, these difficult times, it's been an amazingly interesting time, but try to be positive and creative in it. And you're right, after 22 years, never seen a year like this before. Glad that I could do my part to keep programs running, both for the kids and our best attempts to keep folks at McRae Ranch, united until we can get programming going there again. Look forward to the upcoming year. Can't wait to have another great summer, safe and fun, as well as get our folks and our people who love. In fact, I'm at McRae Ranch right now, so I wish everyone else could be. I'm look forward to it, and thank you to the board, to my supervisors now and over the last 22 years for all they've taught and mentored me, and I hope to continue to do the same for the district.
Brian. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Congratulations.
Thank you, Melissa.
Up next, we have Kellen Mcferson, Recreation Leader at Thousand Oaks Community Center. Kellen began working at Thousand Oaks Community Center in May of 2019. As a recreation leader at site, he teaches a variety of classes that include basketball, science, after-school programs, and camps. The classes he leads have been a favorite amongst kids and as well as their parents. Kellen is known for his patience working around children and his outstanding customer service skills. In the fall, it was announced that elementary students would return to school in half-day cohorts. Kellen jumped right in to preparations and planning mode. He has successfully implemented the site's half-day quarantine care program, providing additional support to working parents looking for childcare options. Kellen's artistic talents have assisted the unit in designing props for the Halloween and holiday light show events. When Kellen is not taking classes at CLU towards his business degree, he was pre-COVID participating in the CRPD adult leagues, something he looks forward to returning soon. I hear he's a great basketball player. Congratulations, Kellen, on being recognized tonight for your service, and thank you for all you do for CRPD and the community. If you want to unmute, you can say a couple words.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Melissa. I appreciate it. I'm not one for speeches, so I'll keep it short, but thank you very much to the board and Jim Friedel and everyone that works up in administration at Hillcrest, because without you guys dealing with the big picture stuff, I wouldn't get to go into work every day and be a big kid, which is what I love to do. But most of all, I'd really like to thank my coordinator and supervisor, Tim Smith and America Nava. You guys are a huge part of what makes TOC awesome and what the reason I love to come to work every day. And, you know, it's really a great honor to be nominated for this. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Kellen.
Nice job, Kellen. Thank you. Next up tonight, we'll be talking about Victor Melkor. Victor has been the cafe manager, chef at the Go Bowl Center for the past year and a half. He cooks breakfast to order, a program that is open to the public, and serves hot, nutritious lunches for the senior nutrition program. Victor also ensures that the Go Bowl Cafe meets all health guidelines and requirements of the County of Ventura and the Ventura County Area Agency on Aging. When the pandemic hit, he helped transition the senior nutrition meals into a drive-through program, which resulted in an increase from 60 to approximately 160 meals per day. Under his leadership, the senior nutrition program has served well over 20,000 meals to the community since last March. Victor has masterfully handled the food orders to meet the increased demand while making sure supply expenses did not exceed revenue. Additionally, Victor has shifted from managing volunteers to leading part-time staff in the kitchen. Through mutual respect, he has helped teach staff new skills and instilled a sense of ownership for the kitchen and senior nutrition program that they all share. Aside from being extremely dependable and remaining calm under pressure, Victor exudes compassion for our senior community, always making sure they are taken care of in the best way possible. Unfortunately, Victor can't be with us tonight. He also operates a pizza food cart and is working at the farmer's market tonight. So he was unable to attend, but hopefully we'll send him the video. But on behalf of CRPD, Victor, congratulations on your award and thank you for all you do for our community.
Thanks, Victor.
Up next, we have Cassie Holmes, Assistant Pool Manager from the Community Pool at Cal-Lu University. Cassie joined the Aquatics Unit as a lifeguard in May of 2014. She was promoted to a senior guard in 2017, and by 2018, Cassie was promoted to an Assistant Pool Manager, overseeing the Newberry Park High School pool in the summer seasons. Cassie is known as the no-nonsense manager, who has been critical in moving the aquatics unit into the future by implementing new ways of organizing, storing, and filing information. Whatever project Cassie is involved in, we know it's sure to make a splash. Cassie has the highest staff retention rate of all three pools. She offers advice and motivates first-year guards. She consistently has worked nights and weekends without complaint since the day she was hired. Cassie plays a vital role in ensuring that all guards are thoroughly trained and executing the stringent COVID-19 guidelines that the pool must adhere to in order to operate. Congratulations, Cassie, on being recognized tonight for your service, and thank you for the fantastic job you do for CRPD and the community.
Fantastic. Yay, Cassie.
Hi, thank you, Melissa, for that introduction. Thank you, Chairman Nichols and members of the board for coming tonight. Thank you for this award. I have loved working every single moment with the Park District, and I'm looking forward to another successful year. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Cassie. Next up, we have Carolina Garcia Mello, and she's actually under my name. There she is. Okay, I wasn't sure if you'd be able to see her. I sent her my link just a little bit ago. Carolina Garcia Mello came to the Conejo Recreation and Park District in May of 2019 to complete her therapeutic recreation internship, and shortly after was hired as recreation leader in the therapeutic unit. She has served as a lead staff in the year-round after-school programs at the Crawley House and has assisted with Special Olympics swim program, bowling, and athletics programs, has developed new camps, and much more. Carolina is very versatile in her skill set, and when COVID hit, she took on the role of leading the first ever adult social and friends program. Carolina developed the program from the ground up, making a weekly schedule, setting weekly social skills activities, building rapport with the participants and parents, and being resourceful in her planning. Parents have nothing but good things to say about Carolina and the fabulous job she has done leading this program. Thanks to her hard work and dedication, the program has been growing, and she has made big strides in improving the quality of life of many individuals in the program. One parent said her daughter, quote, was so depressed and in almost a trance-like state. Her OCD and anxiety were totally out of control, and we all were miserable until starting Carolina's program. She went on to say that her daughter has had a complete turnaround and is so happy now having something to look forward to since starting Carolina's program. Carolina, congratulations on being recognized tonight, and thank you so much for all you do for CRPD and for the community.
Well, I want to say thank you so much to the board of directors and administration, to Rochelle and Tim, and for Devin and Cheryl, who have been amazing and supportive. And also to my husband. This is my my amazing husband. And I also couldn't have done it without all the amazing staff there at OMC. It's a collaborative effort. Without them, there wouldn't be this program. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Carolina.
Thank you. Congratulations. Tonight, we are also recognizing Haley Scorpin, Recreation Leader at the Dos Vientos Community Center. Haley joined the CRPD family as a volunteer in 2017. By the time she was old enough to apply for a recreation aid position, she already had 100 hours of volunteer service under her belt. Needless to say, with her experience already, she breezed her way through the interview process. Just this January, she was made a recreation leader and is now eligible to instruct her own programs. Haley brings a level of fun to all of her programs that the kids are so engaged that the current health and safety guidelines have just become second nature. Haley is a level 1 certified archery instructor through USA Archery and has provided support to other recreation leaders at the site. Haley produces vivid flyers, banners, and digital content for the unit. This year, her creative talents were also utilized in set design for the district's drive-through events. She is a highly valued member of the Dos Vientos team. Her creativity, organization, and leadership qualities are truly commendable. Congratulations, Haley, on being recognized tonight for your service, and thank you for all you do for the CRPD and the community.
Here's my prepared speech, since I tend to blank out during events like this. Hello, everyone. Thank you for this award. I think anybody who was there when I first received it would know that I was genuinely surprised. With the last year and everything that's gone on, I think all of my coworkers and everyone at Dos Vientos has really adapted and worked hard under the circumstances. So I think any of them could have been equally deserving of recognition, and I think that's why I was surprised to receive it. This job has only ever been an incredibly positive thing in my life. I don't think 16-year-old me 3 years ago ever thought that it would lead to all this, but I couldn't be more pleasantly surprised. Thank you so much for the community, the great memories, and the learning experiences, and to many more. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Haley.
There we go. I think it is my turn now, and we're recognizing Kelly Matson. So hopefully we're going to get, there's Kelly. Hi, Kelly. So Kelly, it started in 2016 as a part-time person in our marketing and communications department, and she currently is now working about 35 hours a week for us, which is still not enough.
Uh-oh.
With all the reason because Kelly is frozen. There we go. So her degree is in, she covers with us in marketing with, used to be with Kathy, and now just with me and all my great ideas, which we joke about. But she does all of our social media. She has taken over recently our program guides. We used to have someone outside do them, and now she's doing them, which has been a huge savings for us. So that has been great. She was instrumental in the change of the website. She works with 9 Planets on all the reports that I'm constantly asking for and updating things with the registration. When COVID happened, we had to figure out a way to communicate with the staff in kind of a private way. And she developed in a very short period of time an intranet for us, which it was great. We were able to push out information and stuff, and we're still working to tweak that and make it even better. So it's one of her projects that she's working on. She has done our virtual website, so making sure that all the virtual things during COVID time were on our website. She's got lots of compliments on that. All the COVID updates, she's dealt with Jim on his updates and his flyers on Monday and all that good stuff. She has also transferred, as with COVID, when we started doing all the Zoom meetings and trying to get the videos on the website. She works with Mark. She downloads the board meetings, puts them onto YouTube, which actually takes, amazingly enough, I learned today, about 3 hours for every board meeting. So she does that. And then she does registration. Currently, she is also in training with our new person. She's trying to show the new person, Charlene, all the ropes and training her on all the things that Kelly knows. She has been on several committees representing marketing and helping the units with special events. She has been a lead on our branding and making sure that our branding is correct. She's always coming into me going, not always, but she comes in and she's like, oh, we need to do this. Or she has great ideas on ways to continue to move us forward, which I greatly appreciate. Let's see, we do about 5 to 7 surveys with our community and our program folks. She takes the lead on that, gathers that information, that statistical information for me. And let's see, I think she is married and she has a son, and he is doing half. She's not only doing all this stuff with us, but she's also like half a teacher now, also like many of the other parents out there. Kelly, I just want to say that I have greatly appreciated and enjoyed working with you. I continue to, and I hope that this will be a long time. You have really adapted, and I enjoy working on projects with you, and I appreciate the willingness to deal with all my great ideas and not so great ideas. So CRPD appreciates everything that you do, and we look forward to many more years. So thank you very much for everything you do for our community. You have a moment to like.
Wow, I just want to say thank you so much to Rochelle and the board, and I'm just so grateful and thrilled to be a part of the marketing team.
Yay!
Thank you, Kelly.
So board members, that is the end of our part-time service award. So I believe it is your turn.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And gosh, what an amazing crew there. Just before I'm going to say, I think I started with you first time, so I think it's time to start this direction. So we'll start with board member Huffer. But what I was going to say is, if this much work gets done by our part-time staff, wow. Okay, Director Huffer.
Well, I'd love to congratulate each of you individually. What you folks do in the recreation division is just absolutely unbelievable. Everything going on in the past year, the 180-degree change in the programming and the way each of you has adapted to the challenges that the district has faced. Is just it's unbelievable what you folks have done, and the group who are here tonight really represent what Canelo Recreation and Park District means to the community, and we really want to thank you for everything that you've done. Just a couple of comments. I was curious. I don't know much about skateboarding, so I have to wonder if Wes is showing off the latest fashion for skateboarders or what that might be. When I've gone by the skate park, I haven't seen too many people in coats and ties like that. So, Ian, what you've done with the productions here at the Hillcrest Center, I absolutely was blown away by the teen musical this summer. It was so well done and so entertaining. It was a great job. Brian, I've known for quite a few years. I miss seeing you at the McCrae Ranch for the summer movies and for all the activities over there, and what you're doing for Safe Passage is just absolutely unbelievable. And then lastly, I'm sorry that Victor couldn't be here. I've had a chance to sample some of Victor's gourmet delights over at the Global Center. He's spent a fair amount of time over there the last month or so, and we know they must be doing a good job because people are usually lining up by about 10:30 when they start serving at 11:30. So they must really appreciate and enjoy what's being done there. So again, to all of you, thank you for what you do for our community. Thank you what you do for the Park District.
Thank you. And Director Holt.
Yeah, I don't want to repeat that was wonderful what you gave, because I've always known that our staff is fantastic, and it starts at the top and goes all the way down wherever. And we're very proud of all of you. And I think Chuck, mentioned specifics, and I agree. I really can't add more to that, but it is great to see you face to face in a way, and also to hear what you're doing during this wonderful COVID era, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And Director Cusworth.
Yes, I was highly impressed, and this is so nice to be able to, as Director Holt said, see you, because a lot of times we don't know all the people that are making everything work, in our district. And so, Weston, we would be lucky if when you're finishing school and everything else that you ended up here. I think you've got a great career ahead of you. It seemed incredibly organized. And Ian, I didn't know all these things you did. You just sit there in the corner every week, and I didn't know that you were the ones behind all of these young artist things. That's amazing. Brian, we've worked side by side so many nights, and over at McCrae Ranch, and always enthusiastic, just an incredible person to be with. And Kellen, another one, that is all that you're doing here. I'm glad that you're getting your start in business right here at CRPD and putting your education and knowledge with us. Victor, yes, I've also sampled your meals. Thank you. Thank you for putting that on. In fact, in the summer, I was driving in and taking some for some older women who couldn't even drive. We'd have a little picnic. So wonderful. And then Cassie, what a great manager. I mean, your staff obviously loves you. That was absolutely amazing. And Carolina, I could even over Zoom, I could feel your love and concern that you have. It's a special person to work with special needs and therapeutic people. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And Haley, so appreciate what you're doing at such a young age, and that you've gotten involved so young. We're lucky to have you. Thank you for continuing on with this. And I even had to ask Jim, is she our full-time person? Like what they were saying, part-time, she kept going on and on. How do you do this? In fact, I wanted to say, Kelly, I brought this week to comment on how great I thought the program guide looked. I mean, I noticed it. I thought, wow, our program guide looks really, really nice this time. And you're the one that did it. So congratulations. Wonderful. I'm very inspired. Thank you all.
Thank you. And Director Lang.
Yes, the title part-time is kind of a misnomer because your efforts are full-time efforts. You put in a lot of love and work and dedication to everything you do. And as was shared with us this evening, you know, so many positives. And again, it's those positives when you're meeting our customers and the users and so forth in the different programs that really puts a good face on CRPD. And just a real quick, Ian, we see you every meeting, so we're fortunate to have you contribute your skills and so forth. And I could go down the list of a few of these individuals. Brian, as mentioned, we miss you not being able to be at the Joe McCrae Ranch, but we know your efforts continue even though we're not there for the different events. So again, to all of you part-time workers and to your full-time supervisors and everybody else in the CRPD management, thank you and congratulations, and look forward to seeing you in person in the next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Lang. What an impressive group. I know this is a little bit less than desirable without you being here in person, and I too would love to be able to shake a hand, fist bump, hug, or whatever it takes to congratulate. But thank you all for your efforts. I remember when I was my first year here a couple of years ago, I was trying to make the rounds to all the different centers, different facilities, trying to meet as many people as I could, go to different camps. And then this year kind of put a squash on that. This last year, couldn't quite get around to meet as many places, meet as many people, go to many places, because it just wasn't a whole lot happening out in the field. It was all kind of virtual, if at all. But I just have been impressed with hearing what has been accomplished, even through all that, the COVID creativity that I've heard many, many times. Well, one thing I do want to say, and I try to say this as often as I can, when I do speak with, the constituents out there, the families, the kids, the adults, you name it, who are taking classes or programs or hiking trails or whatever it happens to be, they're constantly commenting about the CRPD staff and what a difference it makes, whether it's someone taking tickets at one of the theater events or the staff out in the field keeping the parks clean, the center operations, the programs, the classes. I mean, you folks are the one that gives the park district the good rapport that we have in our community. The board, we do what we can to help keep things moving, but if not for you, the reputation of our district would not be what it is. So I just want to thank you, because you're the ones that make that happen. And when I see this list, I'm trying to track about the years served, that maybe from as recent as 2019, and then maybe from as long ago as 2000, that you folks have been working in a part-time role, but as we've heard many times, giving it your full effort. Thank you so much, because again, that just shows your commitment to the district. And I've heard so many times also with people who are full-time employees that they started as a youth, going to the courses, taking classes, and then working into a part-time role, just kind of volunteering, as we've heard tonight. They just love working for it. So I'm glad to hear that it goes both ways, that you appreciate the staff here, which I think starts at the top with our general manager and goes throughout the administration and throughout providing that type of work environment. But thank you for each one of you for what you do to kind of make it happen out in the field for our community, for our patrons, and for us here as board members. So thank you so much for what you do, and congratulations. We've got a nice sign here for you. We've got little sound makers, but there's much more in our hearts that we want to thank you than just the signs and the sound. So again, thanks for all that you do. Okay, so now all All right, so now we go on to the full-time employees, Mr. General Manager.
Yes, thank you, Chair Nichols and members of the board. And we are so lucky to have such fantastic part-time staff. And in a normal meeting, you know, of course, what we would do right now before getting on to the rest of business is take a break and meet with the employees, meet with any of their staff that came to join them, meet their families, their spouses, their kids. So usually it's this very warm, festive, fun thing. And I will tell you, I'm sure the administrators would back me up. One of the things I always say after these types of meetings is I love this place, and I love those meetings are the favorite, you know, time of the year. Just see how fantastic, you know, the staff are that we have out in the field. So now that we get to move from the part-time, we're going to go into the full-time service awards. And I am going to kick it off because Rochelle Callis has been here for 5 years now. So I don't know, are you going to pull up Rochelle? Yeah, so there she is, Rochelle. Normally Rochelle would be here in the room with us, and she's pretty familiar with the board, of course, because she's in the boardroom all the time. She's at home tonight because she's packing to go to Jamaica, literally tonight. So
I'll switch.
So good for her. But I am gonna, I can't tell from this distance whether her mom and dad have joined the Zoom call, but John and Kathy, her parents, may be here, as well as Dave, her husband, and daughters Gabby, who is up at Cal State Monterey, and her daughter Mackenzie, who is a senior at Simi High. And probably sitting there right next to Rochelle right now are Baron and Penny, her English and American labs. Before coming to CRPD, Rochelle grew up on the Central Coast, and she went to Arroyo Grande High School. And she wanted to make sure I knew that Zac Efron went to Arroyo Grande High School. So that's just not any high school. It's apparently Zac Efron's high school. She has worked as a preschool teacher, a waitress. In fact, many of you who ever drive up the 101 to go up north that choose to stop, you know, halfway up, maybe at McClintock's on the 101 in Shell Beach or Pismo, that big kind of rush. She spent, I don't know, was it 6 years there or something as a waitress? So there's a possibility Rochelle has maybe served you a meal at McClintock's if you were driving up north and stopped. She went to Cuesta Community College and then on to Cal State Fullerton, where she earned a BS in child development. She then worked at various YMCAs over the next 17 years, starting in Orange County in Tustin at the Tustin Y, where she ultimately became responsible for 90 programs at 11 different facilities. And then she returned to her home in the Central Coast, working as a regional vice president for the Central Coast Y for San Benito County in Watsonville. In 2013, for reasons actually that's an area I got to understand a little better, she came back down to Ventura County because she joined the Southeast Ventura County Y as the executive director of our very own Canelo Y. And now that I think about it, it was Dave. I think Dave got a job down here, didn't he? Yep. Cheesecake, right? So, okay, so it was Dave. So she came down here and got a job at the Y. And so that was 5 years ago, and the rest is history. The board knows this, but for others, maybe for her mom and dad or her daughters that don't know how hard she works, in the past 5 years, she's done things like update the CRPD website. We've done a therapeutic rec programming needs assessment and established the inclusion program, which didn't exist, specifically exist. Everybody knows what we've been able to do with the 850 and Safe Passages program through rec. The senior nutrition and the Canal Creek Grill, we definitely have morphed that program and tried new things and now have a really solid, excellent program that's happened under Rochelle. She does a great job with public surveys of the community in terms of our programming, in terms of accountability and establishing annual goals within the rec division. You now look at your agenda packet and you can just tell the recreation activity reports are have a better design, and frankly the information is really solid because it's coming right out of the computer. So she actually worked to get a patch that allows the computer to spit out those activity reports rather than the way we used to do them, which was just kind of doing hand tallying of things. Of course, she's developed the marketing and communications department more fully, and you heard how great a job they're doing. I can't tell you how many different numerous forms and policies on the rec side she's updated and brought to current. And then not something easy, she has managed to do the independent contractor part-time employee AB5 change through the district as that law changed, and has also addressed minimum wage increases that have gone up. So she's had to deal with all sorts of stuff. And then let's not forget, in the past 5 years, we've kind of gone through some fires and COVID and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, overall this year, rec has had a tremendous response to COVID. We've heard from the, you know, all the great work from the part-time folks, but rec has just zigged and zagged and done whatever is allowed under the health orders to serve the community. They've tried new things. They've done all sorts of things. And ultimately, the district got recognized at a statewide level through the CSDA for all of that effort. Asked about really what she's most proud of, and she really said it was her fellow rec staff and for how hard they have worked through all these times of change. You know, she's surrounded by excellent people, Tim, Melissa, James, she's hired each one of them. And then kind of on a personal note, she just loves movies, travel, and hanging out with her family. So she gets to do a lot of that shortly. And when I asked her what she cared about the most, she said, "My family is my world," which I thought was cool. And then finally, she credits her mom and dad for kind of inspiring her to get into a career in public service, because that's what both of them had done. So giving back to others in the community and helping out. And then personally, I'm just grateful Rochelle cares deeply, works really hard, and is a ray of sunshine around the office. So congrats, Rochelle.
Hey, thank you, Michelle.
Thank you very much, Jim. I just, you know, someone said it, one of the board members said it earlier as we completed our part-time service awards. And, you know, none of this is possible without all the people on the front line doing what they do best, which is being creative and dependable and committed to this community. So I'm just very honored and privileged to have been able to join the CRPD team 5 years ago. And I appreciate you taking a chance on me coming from a slightly different world. And I just thoroughly enjoy working with everyone. Tom keeps me on my toes and cracking up. And Melissa, I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know. And I'm looking forward to many more years of arguing over why Tom gets more money than I do. Still don't get that. But anyhow, Melissa and Tim and James has made us look the way we look in the last 4 years or so. But Melissa and Tim, you know, so glad to have you guys on my team and supporting not only my crazy ideas, but helping me to understand what those out in the field are needing and helping me to understand how I can better serve those out in the field. So I'm just so incredibly proud of my team, and I couldn't do any of this without all of their hard work. So with that, I'm done. I think I have the next person. So I get the privilege of acknowledging Xavier. So, woo woo. I see, I know what you're saying. Woo woo. Xavier is just like me, 5 years. So congratulations on your 5 years. So let's talk about Xavier. He is currently the pool operations manager, and he learned the pool operations from the ground up. His career with CRPD started with a part-time seasonal job at Newbury Park High School as a summer cashier. And then Dee probably figured out, not good with money, let's keep him lifeguarding. No. So he started that in 2006. In 2007, he took certification classes through CRPD to become a lifeguard for the summer. In 2008, he became a swim instructor. In 2009, he became a senior guard. So he's just climbing right on up here. 2010, he was the assistant manager. Dee must have really liked him. And then in 2011, he took on the pool manager position at the Thousand Oaks High School pool. So he was learning everything. She had plans for him. He was then hired as a full-time pool operator manager in 2015. He knew he had found a career because, quotes, Dee told him so. No, seriously though, he feels that CRPD is the greatest organization in the state because of the freedom to be creative and try new things. His favorite project to work on has been the development of the profitable year-round swim team program. His biggest career accomplishment has been the ability to retain staff in saving the district money in training and certifying new employees, and being the SCPOA president. He learned so much and developed so many connections. He is our district CRPD, CPR and first aid certified trainer, and he actually saved the district a ton of money because we are now all certified in the last 5 years, all of our staff in recreation. So, and most of them, if 99% of them, go through Xavier and his trainings. His favorite CRPD memory is seeing, favorite memory, Xavier? Tom dressing up as Nacho Libre and entering the diving contest on the 4th of July. Okay. When Xavier talks about his career and all his successes, he is quick to attribute them all to his supervisor, Dee, and the mentorship and support she has offered him. When not at work, Xavier enjoys hanging out at the beach, surfing, checking out breweries, and traveling to Hawaii. Xavier, you're upbeat, you get it done, you have a get it done attitude, and just, we so appreciate it. I love coming out to the pool. You always have a smile on your face. You got 5 million things going on, but you take the time to stop and talk to the people in the pool and make sure everyone is safe and doing what needs to happen. So, and yet you always have fun. So thank you very much for your 5 years, and I hope that you're going to continue to stay with us, because I think Dee might have told you that you need to try to for her job. And I think you have a moment to say
Xavier.
Woo! Thank you, Chair Nichols and board, everyone else, Rochelle, Melissa, Dee. I am here because of Dee, and I give everything to Dee. She is my mentor, and we don't want to start crying. But yeah, Dee's awesome, and I love the pool, and I love the park district. So looking forward to many more years. So thank you, everyone.
Hey, thank you, Xavier.
Good job, Xavier.
Okay, now
I think you got the next one.
I'll say it's my turn. Thanks very much. Hey, Andrew.
Who's that?
Hey, before we start though, I just want to let everyone know that Kathy Harrison retired, right? So we were all going through her files, and there was actually a file called Secret Parks Photos. Oh, and there were sub photos, not yet, Gabby, I'll tell you when. There were subfolders called either past or future. And I don't know how she got these future ones, but so we scoured, the whole team went together and scoured for different photos from each of the people that were being presented tonight, so we could look at them. Some of them were kind of blurry. So, but big thanks to Jody Dixon to enhance them. So they were very clear to you who was in the picture and what the picture was all about. So we'll start off with Andrew Mooney, not yet Gabby, now I'll tell you when. Andrew Mooney is our senior park planner. He's done a great job in his 5 years here. Millions and millions of dollars worth of capital improvements as he's done over the years. Examples of playgrounds, district-wide drought response, and he's working on the big community project, Canelo Creek Southwest, the teen center expansion, and the healing garden too is one of his best designs and projects that she's done. But I think the best attribute Andrew has displayed is his inclusiveness. With everybody through every stage of the process, whether it's the rec staff or the parks field staff, the public, the city staff, regulatory agencies, elected officials, whatever it is, and then he takes that and coordinates it very well with the design team and the contractors. So, as I said, Andrew, I believe, 5 years, he's got 25 or 30 years left before he retires. So he is our future for CRPD. So we were able to find, Gabby, we were able to find a future picture of what's going to look like for Andrew. So there, okay, so look, we're looking, so this is, Andrew did a lot at home, working from home because he had to take care of his kids. So this is the epitome of what the future Andrew's work life is going to be like. As you can see, he's taking care of his present children. You've got Collins and Amelia on the couch and Scarlett's in the corner there. So he's got 3 present children. And then count them, 7 more girls Andrew's going to have. So he's going to have a total of 10 girls that he's going to have to take care of. And as you can see, there's on the big screen, one of his favorite things is Notre Dame football is on. And you can kind of tell in the background, Notre Dame just fumbled the ball, but like a Notre Dame team, they're all running away from the football rather than trying to recover it because they don't know what they're doing. But what a fun guy he is. Andrew does it all while dressed in his Yeti costume to entertain his girls while he's working. So back to Andrew now. And thanks to Andrew, like I said, he brings a lot of fun into the office, a lot of intelligence, a lot of, getting together with everybody, and just a really person who helps out with the culture that we have here. His future is bright, and we expect him to take on a more responsible leadership roles in CRPD as us old guys fade away. Andrew Mooney.
Congratulations, Andrew.
Thank you. Thanks, board. Thanks, Tom. I really enjoy working with the district from top to bottom. It's a great agency, lots of great people, and just a lot of fun. It's I think Kellen said it best earlier. Hey, we kind of get to be big little kids at work and be able to share these great parks and programs with the community, greater, not just the residents here, but greater at a regional level. I just really appreciate to be able to be part of the team and look forward to many, many more years and many awesome projects and opportunities. So thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, next we have, Patrick's not here. Well, forget him. Andrew, text Patrick and ask him where he is. So then, is Nick here yet? Nick is here, cool. All right, Nick Ferrari. And Nick Ferrari, you can put up the picture up, not the Nick live. And Nick is out in the field, and it must be dark out there, Nick.
Sorry, I'm closing the park.
That's cool. That's cool, man. So Nick is actually working right now. He's working the late shift, as you can tell, or he might be not screen sharing, something like that. Nick is a Ranger 1. He's one of our up-and-coming Rangers. Like I said, he's been with us for 5 years. He's very skilled in trail building, trail maintenance, repairs, and to open space infrastructure. A lot of times he does it in the dark, as you can tell. He's very good at operating all levels of equipment. He really enjoys that. But as his coworkers would tell you, he's at best at communicating and educating with the public. He has a vast knowledge of what's going on and a very pleasant demeanor. And he has a Midas touch in that sometimes anytime there's like a conflict or something going on, he can diffuse it and turn the public into believers. And sometimes just with a flash of his brilliant smile. Can you smile, Nick, so we can see your teeth? No.
Yeah, in like 30 seconds.
Okay, like 30 seconds. Okay. So, so then we found a future picture of Nick. So Gabby, why don't you go ahead and put the future picture of Nick of how Nick's gonna help us out. So there you go. So there's a future of Nick. What a better person to be the face of open space. Yeah, I know Nick would enjoy that one. That we found this great photo of him that we're actually, you know how billboards are not allowed in Thousand Oaks except for the one by Sleep Shop. I think they're going to make an exception here and put this picture of Nick, and it's going to say, meet me in open space, just so he just sort of jumps right at you with this invitation to meet him. And if you had any doubt of what kind of guy he is, here's some quotes from Nick. And these are real quotes from Nick that he actually gave me. He said, I don't know if you could barely read it, but he said, I've never had a cavity. What a great guy, right? He's never had a cavity. And he says, I love watching Downtown Abbey with my grandma. Yeah, that's. What? Okay, whatever, dude. But the only suggestion we probably have with this was probably to lessen
the white on Nick's teeth because he might cause some accidents on the 101 freeway because it's just when the sun reflects off that beautiful face of his. So back to Nick, Gabby. Hey, there you are, Nick. So
Here I am.
hey, there he is. Wow, you look better in person than you are on a billboard, dude. That's cool. Nick, just want to say, hey, thanks for your service and for being the face of Casca for your past 5 years and for the next 35 years. Appreciate you, Nick. Hey,
congratulations, Nick.
Well, I really appreciate you guys, and I love the Park District. I grew up kind of backed up to the open space in Simi Valley, and I was the kid who was building jumps back then, and now I'm the guy that tears them down. But it's been pretty awesome. It's funny you talked about the Midas touch. I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car for 4 or 5 years, and it was never about what we couldn't do, it was about what we could do. But unfortunately, when you don't have cars, it was pretty challenging. So these days I have the ability to solve problems, and it's pretty nice. So I think end of the day, I don't love waking up at 5:30 all the time, but when I get to work, I pretty much get to hang out with some of my best friends, and I love the team I work with, and never had management that's really been like this, where you just feel like you're a family. So it's awesome, and I want to thank the board members for all their kind words and everything, and for everything we do. It's great. So, oh, here's the smile.
Yeah.
Woo! All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks. All right, do we have Edgar, Gabby? Okay, so put Edgar on. Okay. Still Nick.
Hello?
Oh, is that Edgar? Wow, Edgar, you're going, okay. Looks like I guess you're in the passenger seat with Nick. So we have Edgar Hernandez here, who's been with us for 5 years. He's our fleet technician assistant. He had that presentation from Sean a few board meetings ago, or last board meeting, I don't remember. And there's just the two of them doing all the work, and Edgar is the other half, and he would tell you straight out, he is the most important half by far. He would tell you that. Edgar is in charge of all the small equipment that's out there, and he's been gaining more and more experience with assisting Sean with the larger equipment. Edgar has, I believe what you'd say, an unassuming, quiet demeanor, but don't let it fool you. He's a very, very highly qualified and motivated Park District team member who performs miracles on equipment. And I've heard it many, many times that he's the type of guy who he swoops in from nowhere into the field like a capeless Superman just to do the field repairs and keep the crews going. He's always learning, and he always seeks more responsibilities. The typical kind of employee that we really love to have. He just wants to learn. He just soaks it up like a sponge. But Edgar also has a hidden and passionate talent. And we found this future photo, Gabby.
Yeah.
We'll get there. There you go. There he is. So there's Edgar on the right-hand side. Remember, this is a future photo. So Edgar's enjoying it. This is actually the Canelo Community Center ribbon cutting in 2022. It's a concert in the park. Luckily, Tim Dewar was able to get the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Their bassist could not make it. So we called upon Edgar. So there he is on the right-hand side. And that's the guy who's playing the bass, and the crowd absolutely loves Edgar because he's such a fantastic bass player. So back to Edgar. Hey, Edgar, thanks a lot for all you do, and a future thanks to for your performance that you're going to have at the ribbon cutting, because I know you're going to kill him there. All right. So Edgar Hernandez.
Congratulations, Edgar.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, hi everybody. My name is Edgar. so I'm a little bit nervous. But yeah, I've been working for CRPD for quite a bit now. Time flies. What can I say? I'm just happy to work for CRPD. I think CRPD, what it offers its community, the parks and the recreation, that gives me a joy to be part of. And I'm in the fleet department. I work on cars, tractors, and I'm the little puzzle that makes everything work. Not everything work, but I'm a little puzzle. Okay. I'm. Thank you for. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you. That's all I can say.
Awesome.
Thanks, Edgar.
Gabby, did we get Patrick? No, and Cobb Adams is still not available, right? Okay, so it's to you, Rochelle, for Kurt.
Sorry, I was talking.
Are we doing a break? I don't know. Are we doing?
Well, we were at the 5s. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
but we had two
Patrick and Cobb Adams, or Cobb Adams is working
2 5-year
another
shows.
job.
So
we don't pay him enough.
I think we could take the break now. Okay. Yeah. So the plan right now is to get through all the 5-year recognition and then have the board go ahead and provide some remarks, and then we'll do the other multi-year after that. So I think
Perfect,
this is the
okay.
time for the board.
All right,
Yep.
great. All right, so we have opportunity to make a few comments. So George, we're going to start on your side this time. So Director Lang.
Okay. Again, we're so appreciative of all of you and staff, and knowing how much you contribute each day to make CRPD what it is fantastic. There are a number of you that I have had the opportunity to interact with, especially Rochelle. We kind of bonded from the very beginning because of my involvement and association with the Canelo YMCA and the Southeast Ventura County YMCA. I've been involved since I was a little kid myself. So it's very important to know that you're coming from an organization of quality like the YMCA. And since you've been here with CRPD, the many contributions you've made for our rec programs is phenomenal. And as you know, and others, I've had some ideas for various activities and events and so forth, and not all of them are ones that make sense necessarily, but at least you're willing to listen and see if there is a possibility. So I appreciate your willingness and openness for all of that. And I'm going to just finish with Andrew Mooney. And one of the things that I'll never forget, there are a number of things about your skills and talents and so forth, but is the opportunity that we had to observe you, and I'm sorry, I don't remember your wrestling name, but when you and Tom Hare were the main event at the CRPD Play Canelo. Andrew the Giant, okay. And then
For the record, that was a rigged match.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. But Tim was the referee, so yeah, right. But anyway, to all of you, thank you for the efforts. And Xavier, when I saw you this evening, you brought back memories of one of the times I saw you in action at the COU community pool and providing some support for a young girl who was having issues with her swimming instructions and so forth. And you came over out of the office and so forth and spent time with her, and the next few minutes she was back in the pool. So to everybody, I know you each contribute so much. And I just wish that there's going to be many more years of your service and contributions to keeping CRPD the best park district in the state of California. So thank you.
Thank you. Director Cusworth.
So I'm going to start hanging out at the CLU pool because they seem like really cool people over there. It looks like the cool group, doesn't it? So, so it's nice when people get along and want to be together. And I thought, well, people will even work at night and get up at 5:30 in the morning and pretty dedicated. I don't know if it's their dedication or if that's what's required by Mr. Hare, these hours, but they're all very excited to be there. And I love our trails. So, and that our equipment works. So it's what dedication to be there. And Andrew, our parks are beautiful. I'm excited to see your future designs and have loved to see what you've done already. It's an inspiration. In fact, my granddaughter's visiting right now at 15, and I was taking her around to some parks. If you want to ride my bike over to these parks, or if you want to walk, as I'm driving her around, she goes, "This place is beautiful." And she was even remarking, and for a 15-year-old, you know, that's really something that she noticed. So I'm glad that it's in your hands to continue our legacy. And back several years ago, when I was coming to board meetings just to kind of check out CRPD and try to know more about it, and it was just Chair Nichols and I sitting there in the audience together, I would look over at Rochelle when I first met her, and she'd give her reports, and I thought, oh, I'd love to be working with her. She seems like a really nice person, and it has been. It's been wonderful working with you. I found you very inspirational and very organized and creative. So thank all of you for all the work that you're doing.
Thank you. And Director Holt.
Well, I mean, this is really amazing when you know how we've individually have worked with some of these people. It's first of all, I just want to talk about Rochelle with Canelo Coalition for Youth and Families. She's just done a fantastic job, and James comes along too, and they've organized the meetings for us and taken care of, you know, just so many loose ends and everything. And I have to say, Rochelle, that my husband no longer says, "Oh, the new girl." She'd call me and I'd say, "Well, it's Rochelle, the new girl." She's not new anymore, and what she does certainly kind of, it's surprising it's only been 5 years, because she's just done so much since she's been here. And of course, we've known, you know, the others I haven't known as much, although Andrew Mooney has been a real strong factor in our meetings many times. And it's hard to believe they've only just been here 5 years. So congratulations.
Thank you. And Director Heffer.
Yeah, I have to echo what some of the other directors have said. The fact that you folks have only been with the district for 5 years is a little hard to believe. I probably know Rochelle and Andrew best of the five of you, and I still think of Rochelle as the new kid. So,
Okay, new girl.
Although when I saw 5 years, I said, well, I guess we can't call her new anymore. But what you've accomplished, Rochelle, in those 5 years is just absolutely unbelievable. I know Jim ran through a long list of your accomplishments, but to do all of that in just 5 years is pretty amazing. And Andrew, with all of the projects that Tom mentioned, again, having done all of that in just 5 years, looking forward to the next 35 years, what you're going to accomplish is rather mind-blowing. And the fact that in less than 1 year's time, working with the city, you managed to pull off the healing garden and the ceremony we had there after the first 1 year anniversary. People still talk about that, and when I go over to Canelo Creek North, that's still one of the most popular spots at Canelo Creek North. The other three, I haven't had a chance, or I've probably met you along the way, but I don't know you that well. But Xavier, the pools, Director Lang and I both live within walking distance of the pool, so we're by there on a regular basis. And with so many of our facilities closed down, the fact that you and your staff are able to keep the pool going, keep people active when we have so few activities that are available is a great testament. You mentioned, or maybe Tom mentioned, that two of your interests are breweries in Hawaii. And I don't know if you've ever had a chance, but you can combine the two and hit the Kona Brewery over in the Big Island. Great way to get two for the price of one. And the Nick and the Casca, the trail system that we have here in the Canal Valley is second to none. And what you and the rest of the Casca folks do is just so appreciated and it's so wonderful. And then finally, Edgar was mentioned that one of our recent meetings, we learned about what just two of you are able to accomplish. And admittedly, you do most of the work, I'm sure, but what the two of you are able to do with all of the equipment, large and small, that we have here in the district is just amazing. So for all five of you, thank you so much for the 5 years that you've already given to the district, and for hopefully many more years to come.
Thank you. And I too would like to echo my thanks and actually kind of just my awe at what has been accomplished in your short careers with the Canelo and Park District. I say that because obviously 40 is the standard, so you're going to be here for a lot longer. But thank you for your contributions thus far. And I know as have been mentioned, we see a couple of you, Rochelle and Andrew, on a regular basis. Obviously, Rochelle almost every time we're here. But I've also met Nick and Xavier, and I think Edgar, I probably know better than I ever have with this presentation we had a couple of weeks ago, now seeing you in person. So the only thing remaining is for me to get over to the shop and actually see that you're a live in-person being. So I appreciate that. But again, I want to thank you also, folks, because whether we have Rochelle in the administration, we have folks here, Andrew here at the center, at the Hillcrest Center, and then Nick out in the trails, and all of you are out in the field. I wanted to reiterate that whether you're behind the scenes making it happen or providing opportunities to make it happen, there's responsibility that comes along with that, and you folks kind of take it to that next level. I've heard many times this evening, including this last group, where people are just appreciative for the flexibility that comes through the Park District, the freedom to do kind of maybe not quite what you want, but at least to explore a little bit. I think that, again, reflects well on the leadership that we have here, all the way down through those folks who are in the field making things happen. So, whether it be Edgar making sure the equipment is working, or Rochelle trying to decide how we're going to pivot for the latest state mandates that we're dealing with, and you folks make it happen. And while, obviously this last year, it hasn't been without challenges, I think it's still been a reflection of the district that what you have been doing just keeps things moving along. And I think to the public, to our constituents, to the residents out there, they still see the Park District as the agency in town that kind of makes things happen. So thank you. But I think you've established yourself. A couple of things I heard, obviously Rochelle hiring key staff, thank you for that. Xavier, you mentioned about the mentorship, well, what you've learned from Dee, make sure you're mentoring those that are out there too. Tom referred to Andrew as representative of the future, and I think all of you folks are that. Nick talked about working with his family. I hope you don't have those family feuds, but it's a good way to refer to it. So thank you to our 5-year crowd, and congratulations on 5. And like I said, I hope this is the first of many 5-year periods to come. So thank you for being with us this evening. Okay, so Mr. General Manager, we now get to the second batch here.
I think we're ready for our 15 years and up group. Rochelle?
The host muted me. Gabby, tell me to be quiet. anyhow, we went from 5 years to 15 years. So all of us 5-year people at least know we're going to make it to 15 years. Anyhow, we are celebrating Kurt Gunning next. So I saw his name on there. So hopefully there he is with his wife and his daughter. So Kurt is celebrating 15 years of full-time service with CRPD. He is a local kid. He grew up in Newbury Park and is a graduate of Newbury Park High. He even, to this day, has a picture hanging in his office of him attending preschool at Borchard Community Center.
Wow.
So truly homegrown CRPD kid.
Woo!
Upon graduating, Kurt spent his summers working in the outdoor unit at day camp for CRPD. He obtained his degree from Cal State Long Beach later and pursued a career in recreation. Between 2001 and 2005, he worked for Irvine Community College, City of Costa Mesa, City of Laguna Niguel. He was coordinating outreach. He did preschool and the skate park, among many other youth recreation programs. In 2005, Kurt returned to CRPD as a full-time recreation coordinator, facilitating youth theater programs for the cultural unit. And I think we're recognizing Scott, his boss from back then. So something went right there because Kurt stayed with us for a long time after working with Scott. So we'll thank him later. Let's see. So now I've lost my place. So he is currently at Borchard Community Center. He has been instrumental in the successes of the Caneo Creek and the Safe Passage program. He's worked hand in hand with Tim Hagel since the beginning of the program and has helped turn many of Tim's Hagel's ideas into reality. And if anyone knows Tim Hagel, he has lots of ideas. I think I have ideas, but he's got lots of ideas. And Kurt helps make them almost all come true. In fact, I think they secretly don't tell me all Tim's ideas, and they just take care of Tim and make them happen. At Borchard specifically, Kurt has excelled in offering a wide variety of creative recreation programming, resulting in increased revenues. He has developed and identified up-and-coming part-time staff members and empowered them with programming and administrative responsibilities that have increased their professional growth. And you see that in Weston Bacon Cheeseburger. He went from teaching 1 or 2 classes to now, like in COVID, I think he had 10 or 12 classes and they were all full and there's waiting lists. So Kurt is very good at training and growing our staff. Same with Zen also. Kurt, along with Weston Bacon Cheeseburger, I just talked about that, all the skate programs. Other programs and event that Kurt has developed and enhanced includes the Flashlight Egg Hunt, which he had to bob and weave this year to make it different. And we have the You've Been Egged event. He's also done the Cosmic Basketball, which maybe will come back next year. And 4th of July Pancake Breakfast, which maybe will be tweaked. I heard an idea of maybe pancakes in the park or something. So we'll see if that happens this year. Otherwise, hopefully next year it'll come back. Although not a fun memory, oh no, one of Kurt's favorite and proudest moments during the tenure with CRPD is when Borchard opened as a fire evacuation center during the Hill and Woolsey fires. It was rewarding for him to be hands-on and help the community during an emergency, which was super important. Kurt will jump to it. I mean, I remember that day. We were at the teen center. The fire started over there. We couldn't even get to him, and he just took control of it. We knew it was good. We didn't worry about anything, and Kurt was there for days. So thank you to the family for letting us have him. Kurt credits the family atmosphere and the solid group of people in the organization as the best part of working for CRPD. Outside of work, Kurt is equally as busy. He enjoys camping, dirt bike riding, surfing with his daughter, and being outdoors with his wife, Becky, and that's Kaylee. And Kaylee is also an Irish dancer. And he's super handy. He is not only works for us, but he also teaches outdoor recreational classes at CLU. And he also has his very own YouTube channel called Do It Yourself Dad. So check him out on YouTube. Anyhow, thank you. Little plug for you. Thank you so much, Kurt, for everything that you've done. You growing the staff that work with you, your team, and you've been instrumental with the skate park, and hopefully that the new addition of the skate park and doing all of that. So it's just been a true pleasure working with you, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. So thank you very much for everything you do.
Congratulations, Kurt.
Thank you, Rochelle. It really has been a great 15 years. I'd like to start off by thanking the board and everybody at CRPD. And when I say everybody, I really do mean everybody. Nick said it before, and it's been said a bunch of times, the family environment here. But we've been to each other's baby showers, each other's weddings. We've helped each other in crisis, whether it's professional or personal. It's been a great place to work. Every person makes this district kind of what it is. From the Parks Division guys that fix all the stuff that the Rec Division people break, to the rest of them that keep our parks safe and clean, our rangers that are always backing us up when we need it, and all of our rec staff that run all the programs and make the community a great place to live. It's a wonderful place to get to work. I also want to thank my crew at Borchard. I brag about them every chance I get, but I can't say enough good things about my crew at Borchard. They've been just crushing it this year, especially with all the COVID restrictions and making things work and keeping our programming safe and keeping things growing. And like Rochelle had mentioned, I got these two over here. My wife, Becky, who I actually met working for the Park District back in 1999. Tom was sharing pictures, so I get to share pictures too, if you can see that. And then I want to lay claim. That's in front of Canelo Center on our wedding day. So when the Canelo Center gets knocked down and the new one gets put up, I would like to try to lay claim to that sign, if I could. Tom, Andrew, if you're listening. But I'd like to thank these two for putting up with my crazy work schedule. We work nights and weekends, and sometimes overnights, and sometimes several days in a row. But they've been awesome. This one's been awesome. This one had to put up with me sharing an office with her through COVID, and she didn't kick me out to the trailer. So I'd like to thank her for that. But thanks everybody. It's been a great 15 years.
Hey. Thank you, Kurt.
All right, now we're going to go to Billy Sosa. So put up Billy live. Hey, Billy. Always looking cool. Yeah. Hey, so Billy Sosa is a grounds worker too. He's been with us for 15 years in the Parks Division. He's been at a lot of the parks, and currently he's at Canelo Community Park. He always does a very, very good job wherever he is stationed. One of his best attributes are he's very responsive to everybody, whether it's the public, the park staff, and the rec staff. And I'll always say this about Billy, he's probably one of the smartest guys we have in the Parks Division. He knows quite a bit about his job and other things. He's always learning, and he's always looking for a better way to do things. He's an extremely friendly person with a great attitude. And I've found out even more about Billy lately, that he really, I mean, I knew he loved the district, but he really deeply, deeply cares about the district. And yeah, you can, yes, you do. Come on. He cares deeply. Yeah, he's deeply about the district. But, you know, like I said, he's been a grounds worker for these 15 years, but his future does not lay in the grounds division. So Gabby, put up the photo that we found of Billy. Oh, you just say, oh shit. There's Billy. Look, even with his signature hat on. Here is the future. You know, we talked about Sean and Edgar with the fleet. This looks like Billy is going to be in charge of CRPD's fleet. You know, and just how he would want it. It's a whole bunch of classic cars in the traditional white with our logos. And they're all outfitted appropriately. You could see the El Camino pulling the trailer, and you can see the other car in the back with the aerial lift on the back. Honestly, I don't think this is probably the most economic and efficient way to do things, but I'll leave those decisions up to the future board on what the future fleet should look like, because obviously Billy's going to be in charge of the fleet. That would be his wish. So go back to Billy, Gabby. And it said, yeah, always happy to have Billy around. He's a great guy just even to talk with and BS with, whether it's about work or just stuff in general. I again, love hanging out with Billy, and he's a great member of our team and hope to have him here for another 15 or 20 years. Thanks, Billy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Tom always knows because he always throws the jabs on the cars and stuff like that. Same with Matt. Matt always says the same thing to me. I mean, I'm actually in my 1968 travel trailer right now in my backyard. If I open the door, yeah, we can see the whole realm of cars that I collect in the backyard. But I was lucky enough to be with CRPD. I think it's actually like 16 and a half years because I was a contract worker before I was full-time. The park district paid for me to go to school. I went to school, got all my plant classes out of the way. I'm completely completed with all that. Gosh, Nick Turner and Pete Peterson were the ones that pretty much hired me. And Tom pretty much, me and Tom Hare started, I believe, at almost the same time, full time. It's been an amazing time. Like everybody says, it is a family thing. I mean, my old boss, Doug Gove, I'm still friends with him. I still hang out with him like 3 times a week, and he's been retired now almost 10 years, or actually more than 10 years. But yeah, it's a family environment, and it's something that I love.
All right, thanks, Billy.
Yay, thanks, Billy.
Thanks, Billy. So now we'll go to Mr. James Walkers. James, how you doing? You're looking good. You're looking really good, James. James has been with us for 15 years. He's one of our custodians. But this is one of the past photos that we found of James from a long, long time ago. We were very, very lucky to get James. So if you could pull up the picture of James, Gabby, from his previous career that he had. There we go. We were, that's Ruben.
Wow.
No, that's Ruben. Find James. There you go. There you go. So James, we were very, very lucky. We found his James' first career. He was actually a power forward with the Los Angeles Lakers. He didn't actually play a whole bunch, but for us, fortunately for us, but unfortunately for him, he had a serious knee injury which derailed his career. And though he couldn't jump anymore or do any high flying dunks that he was known for, he still could muscle and rebound with the best of them. And even after his injury, he still could play. And Shaquille O'Neal begged James to stay with the Lakers, but to tell you what kind of guy James is, he told Shaquille if he can't do it 100%, he just absolutely will not do it. Again, what the Lakers' loss was our gain. So back to James, Gabby. Yeah, right. James, I'm glad James was Kobe before Kobe was around. So James does an excellent job caring for and maintaining our restrooms. And I think if you know this or anybody, I mean, this is something I'm very proud of, and I'm very proud James is part of it. I've been to dozens and dozens, maybe even hundreds of park districts and parks or city parks throughout the outside the Canal Valley. And I'm not kidding you. I'm not lying when I say we have the cleanest and best restrooms by far. Yeah. And that is a huge testament about what says a lot about us and even more about James. The love that he has for his job. And because a lot of times, especially with the restrooms, you're like, I'll hold it. I'll wait till I get home. I have no problem going to the bathroom in the restrooms, not just at our parks. Because James' love and care that he takes care of our restrooms. But I got to say, from a personal standpoint, what I most admire about James, and we've had a lot of conversations about this, is his absolute devotion and love that he has for his family. His wife and his kids and his grandkids are very special to him. And he sets the example of what a husband, father, and a grandfather should be. He's very, very, very proud of his family, and I'm very proud to have James as part of the CRPD family. Thank you, James.
Yeah, congratulations, James.
Would like to thank the Board of Directors and Conejo Recreation and Park District. I would like to thank Joe Ternero, my supervisor, and I look forward to many more years in service with Conejo Recreation and Park District. Thank you. I'm grateful.
Thanks, James. Okay, Rochelle, to you.
Thank you, Tom. I'll take that. All right, so we are recognizing Melissa Ruffio. And so for probably 2 weeks, I've been trying to hook up with Melissa and get her story and interview her. And finally she said, Rochelle, I'm just gonna write it for you. And I said, but then I can't do my puppet show. So so anyhow, here it goes. This is the gist of Melissa. So Melissa she's celebrating 20 years, but it's been almost 21 years. I think in April will be 21 years. So she started with as a recreation leader in 2000. She was promoted to rec specialist very quickly in October of 2000. And then she took on the recreation coordinator position in 2001. Then she was promoted to supervisor in 2009. And most recently, she was promoted to the service manager position in 2019, where she is currently the biggest cheerleader for her team, which is Hillcrest Center for the Arts, Aquatics, Dos Vientos, TOC, and the fabulous Teen Center. So over the course of her career, she has developed and secured funding for large-scale community events, such as Touch a Truck, Fishing Frenzy, Chuck, I know that's your favorite, Haunted Trail, that's one of my favorites, which I hope will all be back soon under America's leadership. She has trained part-time and full-time staff who have moved up into supervisory roles, coordinators and supervisors. She has been a point person for the Recreation Division on openings of new parks, new buildings, dedications, anniversary celebrations. She is the go-to girl for a party or something to look super nice. Yes, she puts us all to shame. CRP, she's a representative or has been a representative for the City of Thousand Oaks and CRPD with Arbor Earth Day and the city celebration events. She's worked with CVUSD on classes on school campuses, tutoring programs, and in the last couple of years, she had started a recess program that we were doing at lunch with the kids. She represented the District 8 on special event planning. Oh, she did a presentation to District 8 on special event planning because, like I said, she is the special event queen. She also helped CRPD she won a CSDA Innovation Programming Award for collaborating with Ventura County Star Enrichment Program. I need to know more about that. I didn't even know that until I read what you wrote. Memories from the past. Organizing, one of the favorite memories of the past is, and I don't hear much about this and I wonder why, organizing recreation versus the parks softball games, which I guess, in her words, they kicked your butts, Tom. So I'm not sure why I don't hear about that. Anyhow, the other favorite thing is following Jim around in the ice cream truck on 4th of July with him being so excited when kids are running around the park screaming, Dad, the ice cream's free. And lastly, Tex singing karaoke with Susan, that singing doesn't surprise me, at the Cameron Center on 4th of July. What she loves about working with CRPD is the flexibility, the opportunity to be creative, seeing the part-time staff who come back and visit and they recall and tell about all their great CRPD events and things that they remember doing, the opportunity to work along the side of, her words, top-notch staff who are driven to provide excellent services for the community. She has always been able to work in all the areas of profession to gain skills in all the different aspects. And I just want to say, these are my words now, so it might not be as eloquent. Melissa is passionate, she's determined, caring, she's a team player, really cares about her staff. And I am so appreciative on how she brings a different perspective to our management team. Her knowledge of CRPD and many of our systems is extremely valuable to our team. thank you for over 20 years of service. And I just really appreciate everything you do for the CRPD, the community, and me. So thanks, Melissa.
Hey, congratulations, Melissa.
Thanks, Rochelle. Thank you to everyone for putting on the Zoomies tonight to honor and recognize all the staff for their service. Working with Canelo Recreation and Park District has been extremely rewarding. Every position that I've held over the years has helped me learn and grow professionally. How? I bet you want to know how I've done that? Well, for all you in attendance, I will share a couple of gems. Number one, hot dogs go fast at park openings, so a good recreation professional should always just plan to buy Smart and Final out of them. When a grounds worker helps you with a project and you bake them cookies, you can sometimes end up leading to marriage. Another gem is if the general manager wants ice cream, everyone gets ice cream. And most importantly, a global pandemic cannot stop the recreation division from connecting people to one another and the community. Looking back on 20 years of service, I realized how little I would have been able to accomplish without the help of the parks and planning staff, which have worked tirelessly to provide well-maintained spaces to keep everything in tip-top shape. The management services division, always willing to cut checks whenever we need it, and never letting us turn in money for an event without asking how it went and loving to hear the whole rundown. The admin team and the board who give the staff the flexibility to be creative and never get any of the credit for all the hats that they wear. And of course, the people who make up the recreation division who have such vast talents. They all have been like family to me over the years. And I am one of the lucky people in life who have never seen what they do as a job. Thank you again for the opportunity to celebrate tonight with everyone. There's no better place to work than CRPD.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thanks, Melissa. So the next person that we're recognizing tonight, and I believe he's on the line, is Scott Buchanan for an amazing 35 years.
Hey, Scott.
I always ask
35.
Scott, what's the magic trick? And he made, you won't believe it, you guys, he made a pin disappear on, oh, hang on, I can't do it. See my pen? And now it's gone. Thank you, Scott, for teaching me that. Anyhow, so Scott Service Award, 35 years. Scott graduated from Stanford University. He originally was a pre-med major. However, he got a taste of organic chemistry and realized he needed to pursue a different path. He wanted to learn to play the trumpet and found out there's a music major at Stanford. So he ended up graduating from Stanford with his music degree. He was hired in 1986 as a recreation coordinator for the cultural and outdoor units, a position that both he and his wife were vying for. I actually heard a rumor, Scott, that you sent her in first, and then she came out to the car to tell you what all the questions were before you went in? As the cultural unit grew, the outdoor unit eventually moved under the Canelo Center. During a reorg, the cultural supervisor was transferred to a community center, leaving Scott to oversee the cultural unit. Scott has worked closely with the Arts Council of the Conejo Valley to grow and expand cooperative programs. Amazing programs that are so beneficial to our community, like the music program, one of my favorites. Scott has he was promoted to the cultural unit supervisor in 2002. Under his direction, the unit has won countless theater awards, given performers their first taste of being on stage, and has had program alumni go to Broadway and Hollywood careers. And if you're in the lobby in front of the box office, you can see a lot of the awards, but not all of them because there's not room for all of them. Scott's favorite program to be involved in is a young artist ensemble. He has built it into a competitive, nationally renowned program. When we asked him how he knew that this is what was going to be his career, he replied, he didn't and never intended it to be. However, once he had a chance to work with these kids, he quickly realized that they were full of amazing talent and took direction better than most adults. His passion has always been producing, which he has been able to do in the last few years a little bit more. He has also has programs like Comedy on the Hill and the Classic Concert Series that he has started recently to increase more people coming through the building and seeing the arts and stuff. Scott's biggest career accomplishment to date has been involved with the design of the Hillcrest Center for the Arts facility. He takes great pride in seeing his drawings for the Black Box Theater, the box office, the green room, the dressing rooms, and it was all implemented under his watch. His creativity and expertise in theater really aided in how this amenity for the district turned out, which is amazing. Our Black Box is such a little secret in the community and so awesome. Working with the district for 35 years, Scott has countless memories that he looks back upon and is able to chuckle. His favorites are, before they had electric ticketing, this is a while ago, staff would sometimes drop the ticket racks, dumping hundreds of them on the floor, and staff would have to pick them all up and organize them and lay them out again. He also has very fond memories of pushing dumpsters through the Waverly adult parking lot with Mark Reyes at 2 a.m. What we'll do for art. And a prank that he played on Ruben Rojo, which I don't even know if we want to know about it, but he was teaching a class and Scott switched the video for his class. And I'm not sure what the video was, but it was funny, I guess. Scott is a true workaholic, but when he does make time, he enjoys visits to the Magic Castle, and he is a very talented magician, probably a musician also, but a magician, where he is a member. He loves fly fishing, cooking lobster. I think he likes eating lobster also, going camping, and basically anything that involves spending time with his wife, Mary Jo. Thank you, Scott, very much for 35 years of service with CRPD. What you have done for the kids in the arts is amazing, and what you continue to think outside the box and try to literally think outside the box with all these little boxes outside to continue to have our youth have opportunities to do arts is truly, truly amazing, and we really do truly appreciate it. Thank you very much for your 35 years.
Congratulations, Mark.
Yay, Scott.
Thank you, Rochelle, and good evening, Chair Nichols, General Manager Friedel, board members and staff. 35 years with CRPD has been quite a ride. There are not many places that let a person take a program and grow it, so the program is much bigger than just one person. I'm an arts and cultural person, and this organization has allowed me to create so many arts opportunities with a creative and loyal staff, including Megan, Aaron, Mark, Ian, Zach, Ronnie, Mariah, Hannah, Teresa, Matt, and so many more directors, choreographers, music directors, music educators, scenic lighting and sound, and costume designers, visual artists, world-class musicians, and passionate art supporters. Thousands of youth performers have gone on to every single stage in Ventura County in regional theater, on Broadway, in London's West End Theater, and on TV, and in the movies in all capacities, performers and directors. Even more educators, doctors, lawyers, and business people. All of them are truly wonderful people, and they continue to make me proud. Our youth theater company, the Young Artists Ensemble, is nationally recognized, and we've been able to support a variety of local community performing arts groups to hold successful dance, visual arts, theater programs for all members of the community. Thank you for 35 years of support from the CRPD board and administration and 4 amazing supervisors, Steve Wiley, Dennis Gass, Brenda Coleman, and Melissa Ruffio, who support the arts and allow us to do amazing things. And finally, to Mary Jo, my wonderful wife, who found this career for me and supports me in all that I do. I love you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. All right, another 35-year person, Dana Miller. There she is.
Hey.
Break at the Golden Gate. All right, so Dana grew up locally on a farm in Moore Park, and she attended Moore Park High School. She was very active in sports, lettering in basketball, volleyball, softball, and track. She would have played soccer too, but it wasn't offered back then. That was a long time ago. After graduation, her dad retired from the fire department and built his dream ranch in Redding, California. Dana followed the family and attended Shasta Junior College, playing basketball, softball, and earning her AA degree in education with the hopes of becoming a preschool teacher. One of Dana's proudest accomplishments to this day is the night her Shasta College team won the Junior College State Basketball Championship. While attending junior college, Dana completed a year of student teaching and realized teaching was not for her. So she went back to school, obtaining a bachelor's degree in recreation administration with a minor in physical education from Humboldt State University. At Humboldt, she also excelled as the pitcher and outfield for the softball team and a guard for the basketball team. And we wonder, why is Dana in the sports department? After college, Dana moved back to Ventura County, got a job as a summer recreational enrichment camp director with the city of Ventura. One summer ended, Dana worked as a kindergarten teacher, Nellie, I think that's up your Ellie, for Pinecrest Elementary School, but kept her foot in the recreation door by working nights as a scorekeeper for CRPD. After 1 year, she officially moved on from teaching and was hired as a recreation leader in the CRPD sports unit. 6 months later, in 1980,
Wow.
Dana was promoted to full-time recreation coordinator for the sports unit, a position she would hold for the next 24 years. As coordinator, she oversaw summer programs, tennis, adult sports leagues, which at the time consisted of over 200 softball teams, 40 basketball teams, 40 volleyball teams. This was before computer software created schedules for you. So Dana spent countless hours creating schedules for all these teams by hand. Following the unfortunate passing of her supervisor at the time, Kevin Lukes, Dana was promoted to recreation supervisor in 2010, the position she currently holds. As supervisor, Dana oversees the unit budget, youth and adult sports programs, field allocation. Just recently, she picked up the picnic reservations added to her unit. During her tenure as supervisor, Dana has built a robust pickleball program, which was new, a popular adult soccer league. Additionally, she has previously run large-scale softball tournaments, coordinated the Wildwood Run, leads the Conejo Valley Sports Advisory Council, oversees the umpire training and scheduling for CRPD adult leagues. Over the years, Dana has been very involved with SMAF, which is the Southern California Municipal Athletic Federation. She is currently the director at large and the Channel Cities Director and President, a position she has held for 7 years. In 2017, Dana was awarded with the SMAF Golden Shield Award for her outstanding leadership and active contributions. Throughout her 35 years with the district, Dana has enjoyed the camaraderie and sense of support she has received from her coworkers. Her favorite aspect of the job is the overall impact and scope of services that CRPD provides to the community. When asked about her favorite moment from the past 35 years, she said, quote, "My favorite moment is this celebration tonight. I feel I am so fortunate to be celebrating 35 years with CRPD. This was the best job choice I ever could have made. I can't imagine spending my career anywhere else. We're glad you decided that." Outside of work, Dana has many interests, including camping, gardening, participating in adult soccer, softball leagues, bike riding, hiking, brewery hopping, and visiting her nieces and nephews in New Jersey. Much to the disapproval of many of her co-workers, she is a huge San Francisco Giants and 49ers fan. Her office is decorated with posters and memorabilia from both teams. Dana currently lives in Ventura with her life partner, Lisa. One of their favorite vacations spots is in Kauai, but they are very excited that they're upgrading. I heard you maybe did upgrade to a bigger RV so that they could expand their camping and road trips. Dana has stated that this will be her last 5 years of service. I was very sad when I read that. I kind of read that. This last 5 years service board recognition, but the contribution she has made to the district cannot be understated. Dana, we so appreciate what you've done over the 35 years. And I know you're training people to take on all your responsibilities and keep doing great things, but you have really knocked it out of the park in your passion for sports and the many issues and complaints that you deal with that come with sports is amazing to me. And you are always so calm and you always solve the problem. And people are usually happy at the end, even when we're raising their rates or something crazy or telling them they can't play because of COVID. This year has been insane. And you have just taken it with grace. And I just really appreciate what you have done for the sporting community and CRPD. So thank you very, very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Rochelle, and to the board of directors, Jim, everyone. They say that you can only do the job where your staff stands beside you. And I have my whole staff as well as the entire district to be thankful for. And like I said, well, Rochelle said, I said earlier, but that this is the best job that I could have ever taken. I've never looked back. I've never, ever had a desire to go anywhere else. And to be in one place for 35 years, I think is phenomenal. 5 years ago, when I got this recognition, my dad was here. And I know that he could be tonight, he would have been. I lost him in December, but I know he's here with me. And if he was, I would just say that all of you could be thankful to him for the daughter that he raised. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dana.
All right, thanks, Dana and Rochelle. We're actually going to go back a little bit. Patrick Belovic, our ground supervisor, has logged in. So we're going to go to Patrick. See if you can get Patrick on. There is Patrick. He's our ground supervisor on the Borchard side. One of his best attributes, he's always on time.
Sorry, my son got
no, we don't care, dude. We don't care. Just take it, okay? We don't care. It's fine. It's fine.
Excuses.
It's fine. No excuses. Patrick was originally a golf superintendent. We're lucky to get him off the links and into our parks. And just so we did find a past picture of Patrick. So just to set up the picture a little bit, I'm sure you guys have heard of the $1 Million Quartet. 1956, Elvis, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Carl Perkins were all at Sun Studios. It was a jam session that they did there. Very famous stuff. But we were able to find this photo of Patrick with something very similar. And Gabby's getting there. And this is the $1 Billion Quartet. This is the $1 Billion Quartet. Patrick was part of a feared golf foursome at a charity fundraiser at Pelican Hill, and he was very proud to combine his love of golf and the Anaheim Angels. He played with Vernon Wells, Josh Hamilton, and Albert Pujols, 3 players whose combined contracts approach $1 billion. Unfortunately, like their baseball careers, Patrick's foursome did not do well, as his partners had quite a few swings and misses, as they have been an albatross to the Angels for their future financial future. So back to Patrick, Gabby. So Patrick is a great supervisor. He combines his knowledge of skill and turf management with excellent people skills. He is well respected by his subordinates, peers, and public, and has fit seamlessly to our team. Thanks, Patrick, for being part of us, and we look forward to being with our team for at least a few more decades, and who knows, maybe 2060, 2070, when all those contracts come off the books, the Angels might actually make the playoffs.
Congratulations, Patrick.
Thank you. Can I talk, Tom?
Yes, please go ahead.
I just want to say I've really enjoyed my time in the last 5 years with the district. I love Tom making fun of my Angels because he thinks his Dodgers were so good up until about a year ago. But I do appreciate everybody. I love working with our staff at the district. I love working with Matt and Tom and Shelley and everybody who I directly associate with. And I hope I'm here for another 12 years at least before I'm in Tom's position. So.
Cool. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
Hey, by the way, Tom, I don't make those salaries like Pujols and the other guys. So
Right. You were about 25,000 of that billion. So yeah. Thanks, Patrick.
You got it. You guys.
Gabby, Cobb Adams on yet? No? Okay, so Ruben's on though? Okay, so we're gonna go with Ruben Rojo. Hey! Mr. Excitement.
Woo! Ruben!
Oh, wait, so looking at my notes here, Ruben, am I reading this right? 40 years, right? Give me at least a thumbs up or a handshake. You actually showered tonight too. That's pretty cool, man. Thank you.
Technically 41.
41, yeah. He's been with us for 40 years. He is the longest tenured CR employee ever. Not just right now, active ever.
He beat Pete Peterson?
He beat Pete Peterson. He beat Terry. He beat everybody. So he's outlasted everybody. So, what better photo, Gabby, if you could find it. We looked at our archives and we believe this is the first photo ever of the Canelo Wrecking Park District, ever so let's go. We're looking. There he is. So there's Ruben. Before this is, we always put those signs that say like parks coming soon. There was Ruben at Estella Park before it was even a park. And as you can see, Ruben, in his eloquent ways, was interacting with some of the neighbors. And some of the neighbors, I'm guessing, Ruben, you could verify, but I'm guessing these neighbors wanted an off-leash dinosaur park. And that they could be included in the park future plan. So Ruben probably helped us out with when Estella Park actually became a park. So we appreciate that, Ruben. So back to Ruben, Gabby. Oh, there he is. He hasn't changed a bit. As you can imagine, Ruben has done everything and seen everything over his 40 years. He currently primarily coordinates the efforts of our outside vendor, Azteca, and their park maintenance efforts, which is an incredibly responsible and huge job because our full-time staff can't hit every single park, and the Azteca contract is very valuable asset that we have with the community, and the work that they do and the good work that they do is mainly to Ruben's efforts for making sure they do what they're supposed to be doing. In addition to that, he does a lot of our little small projects and coordination with our other staffs. But again, to me, the best thing about Ruben, he absolutely loves CRPD, and as you can imagine, over 40 years. And he would definitely tell you right there, if he would cut himself, it would be CRPD brown blood coming out because he does bleed CRPD blood. Hey, thanks, Ruben, for your efforts, and I can't wait to attend your 50-year service award in 10 years.
Are you guys waiting for me?
Yeah, your turn, Ruben.
Well, you're lucky because I'm only going to be here another 4 years, I think. Okay, so, and then you're going to be gone, so you don't have to worry about that. I just want to say thanks for the support, and that's pretty much it. I think the board members are the only ones that have been around as long as I have, so they know what it was like back then. I think we've gone from 5 parks to like 40 parks. So definitely seen a lot, gone through a lot of administrators. And anyways, we're still here and still in the cave.
All right, thank you, Ruben.
Thanks, Ruben.
Yo.
Okay, Cobb Adams.
Jen?
Gabby? Okay. And just for the board's knowledge, I've got one employee who actually has a second job, and he works till about 8 o'clock. So Chair Nichols, if you want to start
okay.
But then when he comes on, if we could get him in.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely. Just give us the cue.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much to all of you. So I think I'm back over to Director Huffer to start this round, who's recognizing our 15 to 40 year crowd.
Which is pretty amazing. It's nice to hear that Ruben's going to be around for another 40 years. I think that's great.
40 years, I think you said.
Oh, I thought it was 40 more. No? Okay. All right. Just did some quick math. The 7 of you total 175 years. I think you'd have a hard time finding many employers where you have 7 people who've worked a total of 175 years. And the comments that we hear pretty regularly from everybody, whether it's the the brand new people, 5 years, 15, 40, you think of the Park District as family. And I think that's pretty special. One of the things, and I know it's been mentioned earlier this evening, that it's you folks who are the face of the Canelo Recreation and Park District. It's you folks who are out meeting the public, serving the public, solving the problems. Certainly the past year, especially the way you've managed to keep the Park District not just functioning, but thriving. And I want to thank each of you so much for everything that you've done for our community and for the Park District. So thank you.
Thank you. And Director Holt.
Yes, thank you again for the length of your services. It's really been fantastic. And I kind of recognize most of you, and I'm just so glad you could be with us tonight. I have to tell you one thing about Scott Buchanan is that he and I shared an office building. I was director of the Oak Leaf Music Festival, and Rec and Park allowed me to have an office in one of their outlying buildings. And so Scott was there too. And that was kind of neat. I've known Scott a long time, and man, has he developed. I mean, he's just taken on so many things, but so have all of you. And it's just so impressive. And I want to thank you again for all your service.
Thank you. Director Cusworth.
When I was thinking about all the people that are working in the grounds and the maintenance, I started thinking of Disneyland. Like, one of the reasons people enjoy Disneyland is because it's so clean and the grounds are so beautiful. And it kind of makes it stand out from all other amusement parks, to where a lot of amusement parks, if you go to them, even if their rides are more thrilling, if you want thrilling rides, you always like Disneyland because it's so clean. And I remember going to a campground in Disneyland one time, and campgrounds and beaches, the restrooms, you just try to get in and out without touching anything. And I was staying at this campground. It was a Disneyland campground. And I went and I go, it's clean. This is amazing because everything at Disneyland is clean. And I was thinking of that you're the ones that are giving a real lasting impression because everything is so well maintained and so clean and so beautiful. And so to, Patrick and Billy and James and Ruben, thank you. It's so important. It's the finishing touches on our parks that you're doing that makes our parks so wonderful. We can have great design, we can have great programs, but if something's filthy dirty, nobody wants to be there. If something's ugly and not maintained, people aren't going to want to come. So thank you so much for all that you do. When I was listening to Kurt and Melissa, I was hearing team player, passionate, inspirational. You're the ones that are over people that are wanting to work hard to make everything so good. I remember I met Kurt at a couple of Safe Passages events. The love and devotion he has, all the things that Melissa is doing. It's those kind of leaders that coming back, working so long, with Kurt, being here, going away, and then eventually coming back, and with all of his knowledge, making things better. Thank you so much. Scott, I think I've known Scott for 34 years, maybe even 35, because my oldest daughter is almost 44 now, and she was in a show when she was about 9. And that introduced us to Young Artists Ensemble. So yeah, we've both gotten old. We were young people back then. But Scott is just an amazing, amazing person. And he's touched my life, my family's life, and just has developed an amazing program. And my second daughter, who's very involved in Young Artists, Anna, they just moved to Canelo Valley, and she has a 9-year-old daughter. So I'm hoping that soon she's going to be involved in Young Artists. And not just for my kids being involved, but thank you, Scott. My husband and I love theater. We've come to so many productions, very affordably priced, and some of the best things we've ever seen. Creative, innovative, giving a chance to younger kids and then also to young adults. And we've even been to things that have been done by adults. A huge range of cultural opportunities for this community. And it was, you know, done under your watch. So I can't thank you enough for all that you've done for this community, Scott.
Thank you. And Director Ling.
Thank you, Chair Nichols, and big thanks to all of you who have been recognized this evening in this particular section of 15 years to 40. And as I looked at the number of years that some of you have been there, and Ruben kind of alluded to it, I've been on board 31 years. So a number of those activities and additional parks and so forth that I've totally been aware of. And I know they just don't happen. It does take people like you putting in many hours. And one of the things I was going to mention, Kurt, one of my ideas, and then I was able to get Chuck Huffer to participate with me. We're trying to revive the Canelo Valley Days Children Parade. And Kurt, you were one of the main, I think Karen at the time had already retired from CRPD. So you were the main contact to CRPD for trying to pull that parade off. And you put in so much time and effort. It was really appreciated. And Melissa, you know, it's amazing all that you've accomplished. And I'd say this short amount of time, even though it's been 20 years, it's just that you've packed so much into those 20 years. It's fantastic. And you're just a creative person, always thinking and always trying to make things better for our park users and our community. And Scott, you know, we go back obviously many years. And one of the many things that you do, but that stands out, is that, well, it's a couple things. Theater for All. I happened to be chair at the time that we received a special award down in Long Beach, I think it was, for the Theater for All. And talking to people in the audience, you know, prior to and following our receiving that award, really made me extra proud of the accomplishments of the theater group under your tutoring and direction. And Dana, a number of things that came to mind, but I'll just keep it short, is the fact that you were so involved in softball and sports growing up. I can relate to all of that. And I too, here at the CRPD Major Church League years ago, I don't know if you were around when we had that I was the pitcher for our team and had a lot of great outings and so forth. And we were playing at the softball fields or at the Borchard Park out in before they had a lot of diamonds. It was just out on the grass and so forth. So we've come a long ways. And I'll just mention the last, Ruben, you're a pillar of greatness here at CRPD. You never waver. You're there all the time. You're a major encouragement to me, to seeing someone of your caliber that stuck with CRPD and contributed so much. That's great, and you're truly appreciated. And thank you again, everybody, for the many years of service that you've contributed to our community. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Director Huffer, for doing that addition. You beat me to it because I was curious of that myself. that's a lot of institutional knowledge that we have in this group. And of course, if you add up all the rest that we've recognized this evening, that's a lot of folks that have participated in making the Park District who they are. But whether it's, whether I guess Kellen or Haley, some of the newer ones from 2019 or 2017, all the way up to Ruben Rojo has been here just a couple years longer than that. All of you folks contribute to making what the district is. I just am making a couple notes here on some of the different contributions. Tom mentioned about Patrick. He's an expert in turf management. I mean, how many people throughout our community want to know that we have a good turf manager on staff? It just goes, they just assume that that's happening. So Patrick, thank you for making that a key part of keeping our district to what it needs to be. And Kurt, you actually, and Billy too, you mentioned, as many have, that this working here is like being with your family. I hope that doesn't become a nepotism problem for us with having all these family members working together here. But I'm glad to hear that. Again, that just kind of reinforces what I continue to hear from the community and from the staff. That, again, I say from the top down, from the general manager through administration and into the staff, it's just really a teamwork together. Appreciate that. And for James, again, we don't hear complaints about our restrooms. It's because someone's really paying attention to what needs to be done there. And thank you for doing that. I mean, I've been to many parks and many of the restrooms, and the same thing. I don't have any complaints. It's always done top notch. So thank you for that commitment. And Melissa, you had a nice complimentary effort there about being a rewarding job. I'm thrilled to hear that not only do you contribute to the district, but the district contributes to you. And I think that's reflective of many folks. But again, thank you for your creativity and how you make things happen around here. Scott, I think we first met back in the late 1980s when we were bringing our kids to the Young Artists Ensemble over at Waverly. And they were equally as thrilled to see the Velveteen Rabbit as they were to buy the red licorice during the break time. And that still has fond memories for us. And you've come a long way since then, but your reputation has been consistent throughout. And thank you for making that a part of yourself, but also contributing to the Park District and to the many lives that you've touched. Dana, I think I probably first met you back in the late 1980s when I decided that if I could make a few extra bucks being a softball umpire and do something that I liked, I might as well give that a try. Little did I know how ferocious those co-ed softball teams were to umpires. But it was fun. I enjoyed meeting you. And I think we need to sit down and have some coffee together and talk about some things because we must have crossed paths. I've lived in Reading. I went to Humboldt, go Jacks. And I was raised in the Bay Area, so I also root for the 49ers and Giants. So we have some things to talk about here. And when we as a family go to the 49ers or go to the Giants and Dodgers, I use them as barricades around me to protect me from all the fans there. So we need to talk. And Ruben, again, you're a legacy that's going to be hard to replace. I hope you are mentoring many folks in your stead. To have someone with your stature and your reputation and your capabilities, it's hard to replicate, and I can say that for each one of you down the line, that when we have that type of institutional knowledge, that things just seem to happen without anybody knowing it because you just know what to do. When that hole occurs, it's hard to replace and fill. So I trust that you are mentoring folks in your place. None of you could we exactly replace, and because you're all unique individuals, I appreciate that. But we would appreciate if you left a little bit of your knowledge behind as you move forward. And lastly, I just want to say to all of our employees, while we've had this collective effort to recognize all of you, for me personally, I would have loved to have all these balloons and festivities and the sign and everything else if it were just one of you here, because that's how much I appreciate what you do. And I know all the board does as well, with all the different stories that we've heard to reinforce what we hear from our constituents on a regular basis. And I'm also on, as many of others are here as well, on other boards that have regional implications or statewide or national. And the Canal Rec and Park District is always in that upper tier of being recognized for being a special park district in many ways. And that, again, is a reflection of the employees. You folks make it happen. Thank you. Appreciate that. And if there's anything more that the board can do for you, let us know. That we hear it from our staff, but make sure those messages get along, you know, those suggestions, whatever it is, pass it along, because you folks know better than anybody else what it takes to make this district better. So thank you, and thank you for your contributions. Woo! Hey, thank you. Is there anything else in this portion, or are we just continuing to move through the agenda?
No, I think we're going to continue to move on. Unfortunately, someone couldn't make it, but we got to move on. And I don't think the board could have said it better. How much we all appreciate everyone out there and the employees. So that was really nice. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to go on to the, I don't want to say boring. We're going to go on to the normal part of the board agenda. Yes. So if anybody watching the Zoom call is wondering if there's something left for the honorees to do, there really isn't. We're going to just kind of continue on through the meeting. You're of course welcome to stay and see how the magic happens here in the boardroom, but you're also, you won't hurt our feelings if you want to go watch Downton Abbey or something.
Thank you. I do want to thank I do want to thank the administration and all those folks that made this happen tonight. I know it was quite a cooperative effort and a coordinated effort. So thank you to all of you who made this happen. And also I want to thank Gabby for navigating this process for the first time tonight. Thank you for your efforts. I don't know if Mark put you in here because he was afraid or because he just was busy, but it's been flawless. So thank you for your contribution this evening as well. And with that, I need to ask you, Gabby, if we have any individuals from the public who wish to speak to the board this evening. Okay, thank you. All right, and with that, we'll finally get to the approval of the agenda.
Approval.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Have a approval. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and next we have the consent calendar with the minutes and the warrants. Any concerns or issues with the minutes or anything else? If not, a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve our consent calendars A and B.
I second.
Thank you. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have no deferred matters, no items for discussion, no new items. We have some reports and announcements in our packet, which are informational items. Was there any questions on any of those? All right, hearing none, we'll move past item number 10. We'll go to department reports, starting with Park Division. Mr. Hare.
Yeah, thanks, Chair Nichols, members of the board. No report tonight, but I'm available for questions.
Thank you. Any questions? No questions. All right. That brings us to the Recreation Division report. Is Ms. Callis with us or is she still packing? All right.
Yeah, she's off.
Very good. All right, we'll move past that. And that goes to the Management Services Division report. Melissa, did you have anything for us this evening?
Nope, no report, but available for questions.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. And that brings us to the General Manager's report. Mr. General Manager, sir.
So I unfortunately am going to spoil the parade.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I have
That's
a bit of
okay.
a report.
That's okay.
Yeah. So we do have a new kid now. It's Melissa. So Melissa's the new kid now for the next 4 years.
That's right.
I did provide a few updates to the board in writing prior to the meeting about a variety of things, but I did want to just specifically mention that it's really exciting. We do have the phase that we're in with the vaccinations. We have a whole slew of employees that are eligible to receive the vaccination, those that work in childcare and administrative support for childcare, as well as law enforcement. So the Rangers have also sort of had the access to the vaccine. So that's exciting. And then this week we did drop below the case rate per 100,000 that allowed us to have sports resume. So the sports have been using the fields, they've been practicing, things have been happening, but now competitions, regular traditional games will be allowed. There's still no tournaments and there's still some safety protocols, but you're going to start seeing people on the baseball fields and the softball fields and the soccer fields and in bigger and bigger numbers, which is great. So that's all sort of a trend in the good direction. And then I did want to mention that we did have a nice presentation from the City of Thousand Oaks, Michael Forbes, on the general plan update and the status. And I do know the city had extended their opportunity to comment on their, the land use alternatives, the briefing book and the survey. And they're really encouraging and soliciting survey results. So I think anyone in here individually can certainly participate. If you haven't, anyone listening who hasn't participated is welcome to, because the city really is looking for that. So I promised them and I would give a plug. And I think at the last meeting I also said, before we made any official comments from the Park District on, say, the alternatives, we would come to this board and get some sort of guidance in that regard. And having really rolled up our sleeves and really looked at it, I think the comments that we would offer are kind of more of a benign and sort of almost administrative level. And it's going to pretty much boil down to something as simple as, maintaining and respecting the parks per population ratios as they make their decisions. So in order to get our comments in within the time, our thought would be we would write a pretty brief letter to the city and just sort of say, as they go through that process of trying to imagine where they might want to see density and whatnot, our comma is essentially that we want to provide a parks per population ratio that's comparable to what we have today. And so however and wherever they choose to ultimately have additional density, we just want to be thought of in that process and included. So that's about the sum and substance of a letter. So my thought is we would just shoot that off as almost kind of like an administrative comment on like an environmental document or something. And then of course they're going to come out with their, based on all the survey inputs and stuff, they're going to come out with the proposed general plan update, which then still has to go through some sort of environmental review, and we'll have another opportunity to comment then. With that, I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much. Did have a question just on the last topic. Actually, anybody ask, any other board members have a question of the general manager? Okay. Regarding general plan, you said that there's going to be a letter sent. Is there anything that you would hope to have accomplished by the board members as far as speaking to the city or city council members, or is it pretty much being handled administrative and nothing really to worry about?
I think right now it's administrative, but I do encourage the board members as individual residents and longtime residents of the community to take that survey, to get your opinions in there, and especially if you have strong feelings about any of that, like put it in there. And if you haven't played with it yet, you can literally like electronically add your comments right onto their document electronically. So you really, they're really looking for that input, and they're seeking that input. So if anyone's inclined, please provide it.
Thank you. Yes, I have taken the survey. Certainly encourage anyone to do that. It takes a little while, but it's for the future of your community. So it's certainly time well spent. Thank you. Next, we'll go to the director's reports. This side, Director Huffer.
Well, I don't really have any meetings or conferences that have happened in the past couple of weeks. I did want to just comment. I think I've made the comment before, but with so many of our centers fairly quiet with little going on, what's being done over at the Global Center by the staff over there is rather amazing. Trying to juggle all of the people in and out getting their vaccinations, and although the staff isn't directly involved, it's their building and they're doing their part to try to help out. In fact, they were setting up the grills on the outside there, and they were, our staff were preparing tri-tip for serving to some of the nurses and other staff that are working the vaccination. And while they're juggling all that, they're also trying to keep the tax program alive and sort of well. And you know, what used to be a fairly simple operation, they're spending pretty much their entire day just on the phone answering messages and phone calls and trying to keep the people in the community who need the assistance, trying to respond to them. So the staff at the Global Center deserve all kinds of kudos. So,
Super, thank you. Director Holt, did you have any reports for this evening?
No.
Okay. Director Cussworth, any reports for us?
I went to the board meeting for the Stagecoach and Museum, and they're opening up again now. That their outdoor museum's opening up, and they've got a lot of innovative ideas to be showing off things. They're going to be doing a lot of outdoor displays. They're doing for Women's History Month, they're doing some readers theater on Ladies of the Canelo. I'm going to be Kathleen Goebel. So that's on 2 Saturdays. And we practiced today. It's pretty good. So, so that's exciting. You know, those things are starting to happen. I mean, I'm hoping that maybe by summer, McCrae Ranch will be able to do their outdoor movies. I know that they have scheduled their cowboy cookout, so they're probably hoping that's going to be something that can go ahead. So I feel positive that things are happening. Today I was over at the TO field, and there's a ton of kids playing soccer, practicing soccer. You know, it was all filled, and so it seemed starting to seem like it's getting normal. People are getting vaccinated. I think we can maybe see the end of the tunnel, you know, after a year of this. So I'm glad for that. And I too took the city survey. It really doesn't take that long unless you do what I do, continue hitting none of the above and then making a lot of comments. And so that's what took me a lot of time. But yes, as far as the parks things go, I am concerned that they already have so many projects planned. And I was just reading in the Acorn today about Baxter, the old, you know, Baxter facility. They want to put in more there. And then there's Kmart. And then they've got, you know, besides the one at Lupe's, they've got 2 more that are, you know, in the works. So I'm just kind of wondering how many more there's going to be. And in comment to what you're saying, like, is there an end to this? You know, plus the one over at the old Canelo High School, that's supposed to be a big apartment complex. So anyway, it seems like there's a lot going on. And I think that us as park people have some reason to be concerned about, you know, what's enough or what do they have planned or anyway. But yeah, the survey's not too bad. So if you haven't done it, you know, give it a shot. That's all I have to say.
Very good, thank you. Director Lang, did you have any reports for this evening?
I do, but I want to start off with a question to Director Huffer. You mentioned that global staff were cooking tri-tips for the staff of the county.
Yeah, I was just sort of thinking I guess Tuesdays and Thursdays, the vaccination nurses work late. They have appointments late. And apparently quite a few of these are folks who are coming from out of town and they're just staying in motels and hotels. So this is something that the global staff is doing as a thank you for their efforts.
Hey, that's great. Now, just for information, who's paying for the food and so forth? Does that come out of CRPD or the county pays?
Didn't ask the question. Don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, without Rochelle in the room, we'll have to circle back
Yeah.
on that.
It isn't that important, but I was just curious. I think it's a great program to, you know, to offer these nurses and so forth. So, and I'm sure it says a lot to them about CRPD and our staff. I would have a report on a MRCA meeting that was scheduled for yesterday, but due to the fact that both the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy and the Mountains Recreation Conservation Authority just got new websites. And unfortunately, the agenda for the MRCA meeting did not have the proper Zoom information. It still had CRPD on-site meetings in the agenda. So as you know, for any public meeting, you can't have misinformation. So that meeting has been postponed until next week. And then Tuesday, VCSDA Zoom meeting for election of officers. So if you have the opportunity, please, connect with your Zoom meeting on, I think it starts at 5:30. So around 5:15, get on board for that Zoom meeting for election of officers. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you. I was looking at my calendar. I didn't have any meetings of note to report or activities noted. Got a couple coming up this month, but nothing the last couple of weeks. Just one comment for General Manager. When it comes to the contacting of the city regarding the general plan, I know you're good at crafting these things, but just as a reminder that short of getting land, the Quimby fees aren't, just getting Quimby fees is not going to help us by expanding the park footprints. And I don't know how you can craft that to say we definitely need land if we're going to have more units. We can't just get money because that's not going to grow our parks. But I'll leave that to your expertise on how to carefully and appropriately craft that, just to let them know that would be our desire. Okay, well, actually, a necessity in order to meet those ratios.
On that topic, Chair.
Yes, Mr.
And just coming through my little brain, would it make sense, Jim, at some time when you start to see some developers or people interested in buying particular properties for CRPD to have an opportunity to make a little presentation to these people who are starting to potentially invest in properties for their developments, to have a face-to-face meeting connection to CRPD, if it makes sense. I think, you see it on paper, et cetera, in ordinances or whatever, but to have people involved face-to-face.
No, absolutely. And one of the so that's actually an area that we've already started to talk to the city planning staff about, is that whenever anyone is approaching them with a development of consequence, like, a 50 unit thing is not going to talk about a new park, but 500 units, there could be a new park attached to that. So we're trying to educate the planning staff rather than just, accept a pre-app or a meeting about what number of units could occur on a certain property when the developer's feeling them out. It's if they cross some sort of threshold that there's sort of this hotline to the park district that, okay, we have somebody that wanted to do something substantial, 8 acres, 10 acres, it's got to be, they still have to have enough units to make it worth giving up enough land to be a park. So we have, it's a math problem and an acreage problem, but right now I'm thinking you almost have to be talking to somebody working with about 8 to 10 acres before they could still have enough units while we could still have enough for some sort of additional parkland. So, from a one developer thing. Otherwise, we're just in the market shopping for property like anyone else.
Yep, sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's great.
That's recycled.
Okay, next is a request for status reports and items for subsequent agendas. Do we have anything from the board? Okay, and if I could, Gabby, one last time, to anybody from the public still waiting to talk to the board? Thank you very much. We have no executive closed session, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, so we will adjourn this meeting. Thank you all for being here. Have a good evening.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah.